Police in Las Vegas found themselves in the middle of a UFO mystery last month after
To us, big eyes. They have big eyes.
911, what are you reporting?
We got someone or something crawling around out here.
Did you see what it was? Was it a person or an animal?
One of my partners said they saw something fall out of the sky too, so that's why I'm kind of curious.
What? I don't know.
Do you see him now, sir?
Yeah, I'm looking right at him.
Okay, hang on.
He's right.
Is he in your yard, sir?
Yeah, good. He's big.
Okay, what's he doing in your yard?
Mythical Legends Podcast with your host Daniel Barnett.
Welcome everyone to the Mythical Legends Podcast. Today is a bonus episode because we are having it as a live stream. So I'm very excited to have two brilliant guests on tonight. We also have a very good co-host. But before I bring these guys on, I would love to say to you, these guys would love to answer any questions you have. And you can just shove them in the chat, and I'm sure they'll answer. So today I have my partner in crime to help me co-host. So let's welcome her onto the screen. Hi Jill, how are you?
Hello, hi, I'm good, thank you very much. Thank you for letting me co-host this evening. How are you?
I'm good, yeah. A bit warm in this room, but yeah, fine. So we have very two great guests, don't we, today?
We do, yes, we do indeed. The dynamic duo.
You just had a comment from V saying, "Yay, it's Jill."
Hi.
If I just reply in the comments going, "Hey V." There you go. And then John's on here as well.
Oh my goodness.
If I show that one, we've got V. And then
hey,
John's
John.
on here. Right, so let's bring these guys on. So let's welcome Darren and Angela, two brilliant paranormal investigators. Hi guys.
Evening.
Hi.
Brilliant paranormal investigators. Oh, where did you get that one from?
You wrote that down, Darren. You told us to say that, I think.
Yeah. Can I have my money back now?
Sure.
Sure, Darren. Yeah. So,
Evening, please.
thank you. You've had so thanks so much for joining us. I'm jumped straight in there and go, what was the inspiration for you guys starting the paranormal world?
And I met Angela after I obviously started SCG South Coast Ghosts. And it was quite strange when we met. I mean, I've been doing paranormal stuff in excess of 43 years now. And it's something that I've tried to get away from, but I never could. I keep getting dragged back into it. I met Angela just over 11 years ago, and you were a Baptist, weren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I thought, my God, somebody that's going regularly to church, where the trouble with the paranormal world is we are like a book in a library or a bookshop that's, if they're not sure what it is, they put it under the occult section. The same as the church puts anything paranormal in the occult section, and it's a taboo subject. So I'm thinking, she's on my Facebook profile. She's seeing what I'm up to and whatever. I better not put so many pictures on there and stuff. And then one evening she went, "Oh, you go ghost hunting?" I said, "Well, no, I don't. I do paranormal investigations and anything UFO." oh, I'm really interested. And a bit disillusioned with the church, to be honest, weren't you?
Yeah, I only went there to have friends. Social media.
Not saying that she'd made a new friend in me, so she got rid of the old ones and went paranormal, but um, I think if everybody was honest, they and allowed themselves to, they would all say they were interested in the paranormal. Paranormal being from Bigfoot to UFO to Swashback to a big cat to a ghost to a spirit. Because I separate ghosts and spirits, by the way. I think they're two different things. And anything strange like the transit plates of the Earth moving.
If I then jump straight in there and go, what do you class as a ghost and what do you class as a spirit, Darren?
I would class a spirit as being the spirit of somebody that's possibly lived, or the spirit, an intelligent response. When we use some of our equipment, the entities, the spirits, are welcome to come and interact with us. A ghost, a haunting, is normally residual, which I term as ghosts. If we take certain places such as York, we find many different people have reported seeing a certain time of year Roman soldiers marching through a cellar, but they can only see them from waist up and they can't see the legs. And it happens on the same day, the same year. Where I started off, for instance, I think it's the 29th of June, Borley Rectory. The grounds of Borley Rectory is still there. Obviously, the rectory's burned down. There's a nun that walks the nuns walk every year, the same time. Now that's a haunting, that's a ghost. The reason we can't see the soldiers, the Roman soldiers, waist down, is simple. The ground's been built up and built up and built up, and the road they would be marching on is lower. If you were to use a piece of equipment, it's an interesting thing, you know, they're still marching the same level as they were whenever they were there. Yeah. And there's one building which is quite famous in York. And if you do a little bit of research on York, it's a fascinating place. You should, if you've not been, go. It's brilliant. And every year, same time, people have reported seeing these soldiers, Roman soldiers, a legion of soldiers marching through the cellar. It's really interesting, and it's just where the ground's been built up. You can't see waist down, some knee down, and so forth. But that, if you were to use intelligent gathering equipment, such as a millimeter or something like that, and you were to ask them to either come closer to a REM pod to make the static field go higher, and so you knew they were there, they wouldn't be able to do it because they're not there. It's a recording in history, and just like a CD. Whereas if you go into a building and you set the REM up or an EMF meter, and it suddenly starts to flicker, and there's no electrical, an old Abbey or something with no electricity around it, all your phones are off, the lot, there's nothing there for that to pick up. And you ask it, right, are you male? If you're male, come to the meter, make it go red, and it goes red. And then, okay, drop it back down, it drops down. Or a torch or something like that. Can you turn the torch on and off for us? On command. And we get these things. We get these. And that's a spirit. That's something that's still there, that is still communicating with us intelligently. Obviously, there's different dimensions here and so forth, which I haven't got time to cover tonight. But that's what makes the paranormal side of the ghost world, if you like, so intriguing, so interesting. Because, Waverley Abbey, we all get the same hits, don't we?
Yeah. Each time you go, you seem to pick up on the same people because they're the spirits of the people that are around there, rather than just.
Well, we tend to go back to sort of 18th century with communication on the board, spelling wise, because if you think a lot of people before them were weren't very analytical, they were quite deprived in education and spelling. And obviously, the English language has changed so much, the Norman, the Saxon, and so forth. And then, of course, if you go back, you look at the English language being the hardest to learn in the world because it's made up of Dutch, German, just a bit of everything. And we have, I mean, here, so forth, there, you've got so many. So these intelligent spirits, we have to accommodate them communicating. So we may use a glass or a table and ask them to tip it either way. And they do it. They do it. And I've got a video coming out on South Coast Ghost on YouTube next month, beginning of next month. I made it this morning. I stagger them because they take a hell of a lot of time to make. I mean, how long do I spend on videos?
Hours now, sometimes days.
Sometimes days.
We have a
Facebook user.
If you could just
put your name by the comment.
Say your name so I know who you are. That'd be amazing.
Otherwise, you feel rude, not sort of like talking to you properly with your own name.
Oh! It's Amy.
Oh, it's Amy.
Hi,
Amy.
Hi, Amy.
Hope you're feeling better.
Oh yeah, Amy's a very, very good friend of mine. Oh, there's a question.
That is a very good idea.
Amy said the other day, should I learn Latin? I said, where will be the use in that? So now I can tell her she can learn Latin and she can communicate with the older spirits. There we go.
Hang about, this is our Amy.
Yeah, not that Amy. Not
all right.
16-year-old Amy.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's an absolute fantastic idea. And, that's what's great about these podcasts and our weekly live streams and whatever, because it gives you so many different ideas. I mean, I personally haven't thought of that before. So, I haven't come up with the idea of asking in Latin. John, obviously, that's a brilliant suggestion, mate. And I think I'm going to do that now. That's a good idea, isn't it?
Yeah, I did think of like maybe trying French or German if you thought that was what was around there at that time.
Yeah.
I don't know enough French.
Perhaps just a few keywords, a sort of hello and a greeting and a simple question or something in those languages. Be interesting, wouldn't it? To try it.
Yeah, it would be.
They're not spelling anything out on the board that makes sense. It could be in another language, you don't know.
Absolutely.
Oh, no, that's a fantastic idea. Thanks, mate. That's and again on the live streams, if anybody's ever got any suggestions, we keep saying to people, please give us suggestions, because after you've done it for so many years, you've tried every way you can think of. Writing it out or whatever. And somebody comes in like that and they've got different scope on it, and that's fantastic. It gives you another idea on how to do it, So that's a good idea. So that's how I would differentiate. That's how I differentiate between a ghost and a spirit. A spirit is of a leftover person, I believe. I'm not an expert. It's just my opinion, and I'm not going to ram it down anybody's throats because we don't do that.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. Thank you, Darren. So, Angela, I am now coming to you with a harder question. Opinion about the whole paranormal world.
Oh, loaded question, Daniel. That's a loaded one. I'm glad he asked you, Angela. Over to you.
I don't know. Where do you want me to start with that one?
anywhere.
I don't know. I don't know what you
That's
mean.
right.
Really, what my
Okay.
opinion
No, I think perhaps to narrow it down a little bit, perhaps.
So what is your opinion on, let's say, UFOs and Bigfoot?
I definitely say there's UFOs or UAPs or whatever they want to call them now. I've seen enough sort of weird things in the sky myself. Yeah, and I don't see why there couldn't be a Bigfoot or because there's so much of the planet that we haven't actually explored, so you don't know it could be anything there really. And there's like massive caves that we can't get into, and especially like under the ocean, there could be thousands of things down there that we just don't know about. And obviously the universe is just everything that you can imagine, so there must be other things out there, so many things that make us look like
speck of dust,
tiny
really.
Yeah, you can see on that,
Infinite speck,
and then Darren, I will ask you the same question.
What I think of the paranormal. So I'm trying to learn a new aspect, and I have been for a number of years, of time. And it was suggested to me that time is always constantly stationary. The only thing that changes is the way we measure it. And the question of time travel, has it been invented? I think yes, and the different ways. I mean, the fact is that if you spent 16 years in space traveling at just under the speed of light, every 16 years in space would be 100 years on Earth. How that equation works without that's what the scientists reckon. Now Area 51 is very interesting. I've done a lot of research into that. I think one, it's a complete blag. I'm part of it. To take, it's like the magician, look in the left hand, don't look at what the right hand's doing. Yeah. But it started off, a lot of those mountains are actually hollow anyway. They were hollowed out by the military many years before we were ever aware of Area 51 being there. And they took on the Montauk experiment. Montauk experiment was the one before the Philadelphia experiment. If you haven't read the book, The Philadelphia Experiment, I hugely urge you to look at it. They made a battleship. The American Navy made a battleship vanish. There was a lot of other things. There was people when it came back. There were soldiers or Navy seamen burned into the deck part of the ship. The ship was sighted in different parts of the world at the same time, and it's just an amazing thing. Now the Montauk experiment, possibly even more so. I don't know if you've ever investigated Daniel reptilians.
I haven't, no.
But probably the next thing you should really move on to. So you can differentiate between a Bigfoot and a reptilian. Reptilians, they found the skeletons of what they call the Anakai. The Anakai, sort of like he's huge man. They found these skeletons, so that it's like Bigfoot. We've got too much evidence to suggest they do than don't. And reptilians are supposed to live in 3 concentrated areas, one being New York, one being the outback in Australia, and the other being New Zealand. New Zealand doesn't keep any accurate records of missing persons or things like that in certain territories. Australia, we know in the outback, there's hundreds of people vanish each and every year. And New York, in a 3-year period, there was 5,000 children went on the missing list. When the New York authorities were challenged with this, 5,000 children in 3 years. They went, yeah, it's perfectly normal. Now, when you look into, I mean, if you look put in reptilians, you'll see people in New York, tourists, have got something in a drain grate's eyes poking up from underground. And these things are supposed to live underground, underneath us all the time. And they will eat human flesh, but we're a bit tough, you know. Me, Jill, and Angela would be absolutely no, we wouldn't be on the menu. We're safe. However, Daniel, you would be quite a prize for them. Yeah, you'd be lunch. Now,
thank you so much, Darren. You made my day perfect, Darren.
They like, supposedly they like the taste of human flesh, but children are the things that, you know, youngsters are the thing that they. Now, when you consider 5,000 children in 3 years, that's an awful lot of children to go missing in one city. I know New York's quite sizable. And when the conspiracy theorists are saying they live in New York, and then you put that together, and tourists are finding, you know, they've got eyes peering out of the road drains at them in New York, and the fact that the ex-military personnel that were involved with trying to cross a reptilian with a human being under Area 51 have actually spoken out, and you can actually get a disc. It's a very poor quality of these 3 80-odd-year-old blokes that decided to speak out about it virtually on their deathbeds, because if they'd have spoken out when they were 40, 50, they'd have been on their deathbeds as well. So they might as well
how dare you?
He doesn't mean it.
Unfortunately, if you speak out about anything, Area 51 or anything that's off the narrative, you are labelled one way or another on whatever you do in society. If we dare mention about more people coming to the country, then we're labelled something else. If we mention there may be reptilians in the world, we are labelled a conspiracy theorist. However, reptilians are really another Bigfoot to me, because they come under the paranormal umbrella. You know.
Interesting.
So,
I actually found that really interesting.
Well,
Hey, Harlan.
Hi, Harry. Oh, mate. Area 51 was originally a testing area for the US military, and then they hollowed the mountains out, because after World War II, when the Americans finally decided to come into the World War II, they stormed some of Hitler's secret caves. And I don't know if you're aware of this, but you can search this and it's true. Hitler had 40-something of what you could only call UFOs. This was in 1945. In the mountains. Wow. Yeah, you got it, Jill. He had them then. He had 2 dreams. Good evening, Eileen. I had 2 dreams, which were absolutely mental, but he achieved everything up until then. One was to live in Oxford. Well, I don't know. And the other one was to bomb New York. Well, at that time in the Second World War, we didn't have anything capable from traveling from the UK or Germany to New York. And when the Americans stormed these caves, they took them to Area 51. And that's where the UFO conspiracies came from, Area 51. They seized everything, including the scientists. They took back to America as well. And they said, look, you can either go to the Nuremberg trials or you can work for us and be comfy for the rest of your life.
Wow.
Talking about level of corruptness. But that's where, I mean, Kevlar, it's physically impossible for a human being to have come up with Kevlar without an outside influence outside of the planet Earth. There's lots of things. Platonic weaponry, which exists, laser weaponry, which exists, and laser, of course, is infinite. When you see the end of that in the sky, that's not the end of it, that's infinite. So you are sending out light.
Wow.
And as far as the universe size, anybody know the reason why we don't know how big the universe is? Anybody know why?
Anybody in chat? We'll just wait for
a
the
good one.
answer to come through.
I'll tell you in 5 minutes' time. But does anybody know why we don't know how big the universe actually is? That's a question for you. But no, I'll tell you in 5 minutes. Anybody get it? They're not winning anything, but I'll give you a clap.
So if we move on until if answer comes through. So let's have a look at questions. Yeah. Could you tell us a little bit how you started South Coast Ghosts?
Yeah, I think the hardest thing was to come up with a name. Because at that time when I started up, there wasn't that many paranormal investigators, companies or whatever. You had the one that's still synonymous with the hobby, the industry, Harry Price, very well-known paranormal investigator in his time and a legend. And I'm thinking, well, I don't want to be ghost hunters because I don't hunt ghosts, it's a bit disrespectful, isn't it? You are spot on. You are spot on.
Oh, well done.
The light from the edge of the galaxy or the solar system hasn't reached Earth yet. It's still expanding at the speed of light all around us in the 360-degree orbit. Now, does that not blow your minds?
Yeah.
That does, yeah. Well done, V.
The speed of yeah, well done, mate. I knew he'd get it. But we're on the same level here. But that blows your mind. That really does. But no,
yeah, it does.
I think I mean, a few of us have been investigating and whatever around 2003, because I moved down to Portsmouth 2001, and me and my partner then, and made a few friends and whatever. Correct, mate. And people say, "Oh, what's your hobbies and whatever?" I said, "Oh, you find it a bit weird, but I like looking for spirits. I love haunted places." "Oh, right, okay." Then when I was standing in the pub and whatever a few times, I had to give messages across to people. Can't do it all the time, but sometimes somebody will come through and they'll say, "Oh, go and tell them now." And I said this to one guy, Robbie. He used to work on the Canberra as an entertainer, and his wife had just passed. And I said, "You've got to do this. This is why you're getting a lot of stuff." And I'd never met him before in my life. And he went, "How do you know all this?" I said, "Just go and put some flowers on the mantelpiece." I said, "Come back to me." Came back 2 weeks later. He went, "How did you know to do that?" He says, "The house feels blessed now." And so people would say to me, "Oh, will you come round to look at my house and whatever?" And then as I made friends, they said, "Oh, I know this place up on the hill, Acton Monument and stuff." So we started going out with torches and meeting other people. And they said, "Well, why don't you just start a group so we can sort of show other people where we've been and whatever, and they may want to come along." There was very few groups at that time. So 2007, I sat down one night on the computer, and the hardest thing I had to come up with was the name. And anyway, I came up with the name South Coast Ghosts. I thought, well, if I say spirits, it could be whiskey, it could be vodka, it could be anything. And I liked a little bit of that myself at the time. And absolutely, mate. Yes, absolutely. Myself and Daniel were having a chat earlier today, weren't we?
We were,
On
yeah.
people of different levels of, I believe, intelligence. And I think a lot of people are scared of the unknown. Of course they are. I mean, I say to people, why don't you come out with, oh, no, I couldn't handle that. Because it's the unknown. I mean, the room you're sat in right at this very moment in time, you're absolutely happy, right? Well, once you turn the lights off and you can't see in front of your face, it only takes one noise that you think may be in that room and you're scared, correct?
Yeah.
It's the
Wow.
unknown. The unknown.
Yeah.
So I think now, Craig, I just shut off. I just they turn round, they have a laugh. I mean, my real mother's one that sees things but still doesn't believe it, and still ridicules us for a bit. Oh, no, don't be such a. But I put it down to them being ignorant and afraid. Ignorant and afraid. Plus the fact it's almost close-mindedness, isn't it? You know, they're not really. And when we trained as hypnotists, hypnotherapists, we were taught that you have two minds, a conscious and a subconscious in adult life. When you're a child, you're in subconscious all the time. That's the big part of your mind that's learning all the time and so forth. When you're a child, it's still open to suggestion. You don't have a conscious mind to stop you taking in all this stuff. That's why children learn a lot better than we do, adults. When you suddenly become an adult, it's actually puberty. You know how Jill, how the kids know absolutely everything all of a sudden, and you
They're
can't tell
always
them
right.
anymore.
Yeah.
That's because they develop that conscious mind. So these people that ridicule us have all got this conscious
I will say,
mind.
I've always known everything. Always.
That is true. Yeah. That's very
Always.
true.
I can believe that, Daniel. Yeah, now I knew that without you telling me. I mean, if you stand there and argue that you've seen this, you've had that, and ask them a question, how can the table move without you touching it, or a book fall out, a book without you pulling it? They go, there'll be a logical reason for it. And it sort of depresses you a bit, because I've debunked 80% of what I've already had happen. Yeah. I mean, we're standing on a boat in the freezing cold on Saturday, for God's sake. We were hearing noises, weren't we?
Yeah.
And at the same time, as I was saying, no, we've got to debunk that because it could be outside. Yeah. And so is everybody else. The possibility of them being noises being paranormal were in fact very high. But because even if there's a small percentage that it may not be a spirit, a ghost, I debunk it. So when you're up against these people, it can be disheartening, depressing. You've done everything you can. The evidence you've got is 100% genuine, 100% real, and they're still trying to tell you you're an idiot, you're a fool. So the best way I'll deal with it is I go, yeah, okay, mate, yeah, no problem, and I'll just carry on. And I think that's another reason I created the Paranormal Monday Live, to meet like-minded people.
And at this point, I will ask Angela, could you answer that same question that's on the screen?
But I just had sort of people say, "Oh, you don't believe in that, do you?" But then not make fun of me for it. They'll just sort of go off on their own, and I won't sort of engage with them and try and like talk them around or convince them otherwise. Because
Don't engage.
Because I think I could. Well, I can't actually talk for hours, but if I could talk for hours about it, it wouldn't make any difference because they need to experience it for themselves. Because just having somebody
Mm.
tell, if you sort of told them, well, I've seen this and I've heard this, they'll be like, yeah, but it could have been that and it could have been that. So there's no point going through it all. You just,
Yeah.
if you believe you
Yeah.
can't really convince them, they have to have their own experience.
Yeah, I think that's
Oh,
true.
amazing.
I think we've kind of found that a little bit, haven't we, Daniel? Both of us. People express, like as you say, why on earth do you believe that? It's all make believe, isn't it? And I think we've kind of come up with, why not just look into it yourself? You know, there's loads of things out there. Why don't you just research it a little bit, and then you can form a better.
Do your own research. Do your own research. That's what I say to them. Do your own research. Yeah, you're standing there calling me mad, basically. Have you ever researched
when they
it?
know
Yes, I have.
nothing about it.
Where have you researched it? Well, I watched the television.
Yeah,
That's not research.
It's as well.
You're right.
Everyone who is watching this now, and everyone who is who's watching this on record, this advice is gold, and I can tell you that it is gold. We've all had it happen to all of us, and John in chat, all of us have had someone or a group of people tell us we're mad, we're wrong, and sometimes
John said a few things on my lives and whatever, and your lives. In Banff, there's something supposed to be going into the ground and consuming corpses and whatever. Now, to me, the first thing I do when something new is suggested to me of anything that's not normal in the UK, paranormal, not normal, I'm jumping on that case. Do you know what I mean? It's like, really? Cool, I'm going to look into this, or the swamp cat on Hailing Island. I looked into it. It's real. There really is a swamp cat run over on Hailing Island. And I'm like, wow, this is. But other people, they seem, not everybody, some people are more awake than others. One thing you'll notice, everybody on the lives that comes on the lives, you can suggest to them that not everything they've been told or see is 100% correct. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
You try going down the high street and see how many people will listen to you about real primate DNA being found in the Quantock Hills. Yeah. That's what they're going to do. And I think that's the different levels of openness of people. And it goes back to fear. Perhaps if they ever decide to walk their dog through those hills, it would feel a lot safer knowing there wasn't possibly something there that may jump out.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
It's like it's when you're like, it's like I go to a local park and I've got one person who fully believes in what we've said. In fact, he was at the event, and when we talk about it, and we've got these other guys around us, and they go, "Don't be stupid." I'm like, "Do you actually know what it is?" And they go, "Yeah, it's a cartoon film." I go, "No, do you actually know what Bigfoot is?" And it's like, they go, "No." "Do you know what a researcher is?" They go, "No." So I'm like, then you can't really say anything about it. And I'm like, that's true.
But the best thing to do, Daniel, is don't engage with them. Just just say, okay, that's fine. Everybody's each their own, yeah. I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to argue with you. I can't force you to be right.
Yeah. Yeah,
Huh?
definitely. And
Don't,
that
don't
that's
say that,
very
Sheila.
So, we are going to move on to our last question because we have almost run out of time. Now, that time has gone so
55
fast.
minutes. Thought that was 55 minutes.
It was 40 minutes, Darren.
Okay.
So, my last.
Darren, can I just say you are entitled to your beliefs?
Yes. Jill, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Good comeback.
V said that.
Right.
Yeah. So, where can people find your work and where can people find your paranormal investigations?
Well, obviously we're based in Portsmouth, but I do travel. We do travel, don't we?
We do.
Before the old lockup, I was asked to do the Tan Hill Inn, which was in Yorkshire, Britain's highest pub. I don't think we can be. I don't. Shall we have a vote in the comments why we should continue it for another 25 minutes?
I need to watch the Great British Bake Off.
That just killed the whole podcast, Daniel. That just killed it. Yeah, that's like saying you really want to go and eat in Gordon Ramsay's restaurant, or maybe you're going to London next week to see the Queen. Yeah, you're not, are you? Yeah. Anyway.
Well, hardly. Well, you might.
Anyway.
I don't think we can.
You might. We can't.
No,
we have too much researching to do.
If you've not noticed, she went last year. We've got a king now. Anyway. Stop it, Daniel. You're not getting me to tell any jokes, right? That's it. Okay.
V, that's very true.
Yeah. I can.
Very true.
No, I'm not going to allow. No. Anyway, So, sorry, what was the question again?
Where can they find us?
Where can they find us? Right. Well, every Monday, I've got my main group is South Coast Ghosts. That's for the South. I also founded Great British Ghost Hunters. That's also my group. We've got almost 5,000 people on there. And that's basically just to cover the whole of the UK. And then we've got, obviously, what you guys join us on, which is Puppy, Power Unified Paranormal Investigators. South Coast Ghosts, if you put that into just your web browser, southcoastghosts.com. We're also on YouTube, same with GBGH and Puppy. And if you do want to join in, which we'd love for you to, 8 o'clock every Monday, myself and Paul Howard host the Puppy Show, which is the Paranormal Monday Lives. We were always looking for new people to come on. And I must say as well, last night, if you weren't on it, such as Daniel, you missed an absolute
I was on for a half hour.
Right. We could not get off. John, you had some superb input last night. The same as V, same as Vera, same as Chris. Absolute. Oh, what fantastic. We just kept going off, didn't we, on different avenues and different. I think that's what when we're all together like this and we do the lives, you're on a 360 ball and you can look at all sides. Yeah, you've got other people to look in.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, everybody, last night. So Paranormal Monday Live every 8 o'clock, every Monday 8 o'clock on Facebook and YouTube. South Coast Ghosts. 3 hours there, yeah, 3 hours last night. And I'll tell you what, that really wasn't long enough for me. I could have stayed on all night. Thank you ever so much. Thank you. 450. Thank you so much. John, we understand. I must apologise. I didn't see your message in the chat, mate. I'm really sorry. I didn't get a chance to say goodbye to you. I apologise for that. Last night, fantastic. It really was. So if you want to come and join us, you want to come and chat, Daniel, Jill's on there, John's on there, V's on there, and so much so we've now paid to up it to 10 people, so we can do 10 people. Well, next week, hopefully, I'll get a chance to say goodbye to you, John. Good night. But that's my manners bad there. Sorry, mate. I didn't see it honestly in the chat. I'm absolutely useless with keeping me on that chat. I've got to do it more often. But no, that was a really good live. So come and find us. Come and join us. If you want to speak about something, everybody's got a voice on my channel. If you want to tell us a story, yeah, 10 people for cheers, John. What's up now, Daniel? What's up? Oh, British Bake Off. Yeah. What? You you're over time. You're over time.
It's all right. It's all right. But yeah, it's all right. But thank you so much.
If you ever need me to come on here, answer anybody's questions on here, if you want to run a paranormal side on spirits or whatever, I'm more than happy to come on, and Angela's the same. Sure, Paul Howard would be as well. And if you can't make the Mondays, we can come on here for you and answer any questions. Or if you've got a problem with something that's going on at your house, your work, or just personally, give us a shout. We're always there to help you. If it's within reach, we'll come up and I was going to say come and visit you, but we will do just that. We'll do an evening round your house or whatever.
So that didn't sound like a threat at all.
No, I know. I was trying to phrase it, and I thought I'll just come out with it.
You realise when it was coming out.
I knew it was coming out. I'll come and visit you.
You already have, Darren.
Yeah.
That's enough of you.
We've had the pleasure of your company. It was brilliant seeing you a couple of weeks ago.
It was absolutely superb. And that's what I find about real paranormal people when they get together, like we all did. It's absolute, because everybody's on that same level. Oh, yes, go on, V. Go on, Daniel. Go on, do your impersonation.
How dare you?
Yep. Now he's going to get on his private
boat. How dare you do that?
And fly around the world with his diesel generator. Yep. It's Daniel
right,
Thunberg. Anyway.
Right, guys. So thank you so much for being with us this evening.
Thanks for having us. Thank you for having us.
It's been great.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Guys, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as Darren and Angela's. We are all here. If you need anything. But guys, I'll see you in the next podcast, and here is a great intro. Thank you so much, guys, and I shall see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Mythical Legends podcast. For more information, check out our Facebook group. The truth is out there.